Me and George by Luke Erickson of the University of Idaho Extension. I bought a pack of gum today and got a quarter back as change. George Washington, the president, in economic exchange. I looked at George and wondered just where on earth he'd been. Probably someplace pretty cool, 'cause I swear he wore a grin. I wished to see just as George saw, then thought of what to do. I chewed my gum real long and good, then stuck it to my shoe. Then shrunk myself so nice and small to make myself much shorter, and jumped real high into the air, then stuck right to that quarter. The day was warm, the sky was clear, and George's face was bright. Upon the sidewalk we did wait until a howl of delight. I found some dough, little Johnny cried. I'll buy some lemonade. And at a stand of fruity nectar went George in homemade trade. Jen Van Bjorn, who ran the stand, knew a thing or two about business, because when Pete asked for a loan, she replied, "Okay, with interest." Insolvent Pete took me and George and several other presidents and bought Blight, a video game from Ned at his home residence. And while Pete played that video game, he began to feel forlorn. I play and play, yet oh and oh, that stinkin' smart Van Bjorn. And Ned, Pete's friend, who sold his game to save up for a bike, walked to the store to buy new wheels, but saw a sad small tyke. "What's wrong?" Ned asked the little tyke. "You're looking kinda sad." "I am," said Tyke. "Dad lost his job. I want to help him bad." Ned put some change into Tyke's hand. "My bike can wait a while." "Oh, thanks," said Tyke, and home he ran. His dad did smile a mile. "Thanks for your help, my little guy, 'cause every quarter counts. Big differences are always made by very small amounts." So, me and George went with the rent to pay the landlord's bill, and out to dinner we did go with landlord, wife, and Jill. Jill spilled her plate when she announced, "My favorite food is taters," and there to clean the spuddy mess a real hard-working waiter. To thank the waiter they did leave a tip that was big-hearted, and with the waiter George did stay when the Idahoans departed. At home he asked, "Dear, should we start for Junior an allowance to teach him how to save and share and spend with good accountants?" "I don't think that's a word, my dear, but that's a great idea." And Junior looked at all his change and said, "Oh, mamma mia. I'll save and spend and give a little from each respective jar." And me and George were saved a while till Junior said, "Au revoir." "Muy bien, I shall earn interest. Das ist gut. I am no fool." He handed George up to the banker to save up for language school. And at the bank I learned a roll of quarters is $10, 'cause as a roll went me and George to a couple of Montrealers. Their business was an ice cream shop they opened here down south, because they found that way up north ice cream won't melt in your mouth. They sold a cone to Alice. She bought another for her brother. She ran the cones across the street, stopped at a wishing well, then uttered, "I wish my brother to get better." Then she tossed George into the water. George then got a little wetter, and from my tears a little hotter. Alice ran into the hospital. With cones in hand, she disappeared. George swam a bit. I held my breath until we saw an underwater beard. I grabbed on tight, and up we rode on the woolly submarine. "I'll wash this well, well," sang the beard. "'Tis my job to keep it clean." And as the cleaner sang and brushed, me and George rolled to the ground, and there we waited till I saw that a baseball was inbound. "Watch it, George." It bounced, then stopped, just short of squashing us a bunch. George kept his cool. Me, not so much. In truth, I nearly lost some lunch. A player neared, and I could see it was my best friend Ben. Ben grabbed the ball and threw it far as though on ESPN. Ben then saw the shiny coin and put old George into his pocket. Then at his home he dropped us in a piggy bank near his toy rocket. Now I've heard that when it rains, things can get awfully expensive. Ben's rain-soaked mitt had turned to mush, and I could tell that Ben was pensive. Is this a rainy day, he asked. Probably is, his mother claimed. Then I'll use my rainy day fund to buy another for my game. I think that's fine, his mom replied, but Ben, you only have $5. My friend is selling his for $4. Ben filled his house with whoops and hollers. Ben got George another savings to replace his squishy mitt, and at my house he tried mine on, my old glove a perfect fit. My son will be real glad to know that his old mitt went to a friend. Then me and George took one last trip, our fiscal journey at an end. I learned a bunch with George that day. Money isn't good or bad. It just reflects the character that we already had. And as for George, we're now good friends. Spending him would be real dumb. Unless, of course, I tagged along, which means I'm going to need more gum.